This was a bipartisan bill. It was bipartisan support, and the bill represents critical investments that are long overdue in our country.
There it is. President Biden celebrating the infrastructure bill's passage a few hours ago. He's going to sign the bill Monday and travel the country on a victory lap. At least some of the 13 Republicans who voted with Democrats in the House to pass the bill will likely be at the signing, and at least a few of their fellow Republicans say they should face punishment for giving the president a victory and bailing out Speaker Pelosi, who didn't have enough Democratic votes to pass it. Here's Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs on the program last night.
They went against the entire Republican conference. They facilitated a big Biden win, not just on infrastructure. They actually turned the key so they can go forward with the Build the Bigger Bankruptcy bill of Joe Biden.
As we noted, Build the Bigger Bankruptcy bill. It was a new one that we had not yet heard until yesterday. So far, Republican leadership in the House has been pretty quiet about what, if anything, they might do against the 13. Joining us now, Republican Congressman Tom Reed of New York, member of the Problem Solvers Coalition, who voted for the bill. Congressman, good to see you. We appreciate it.
Glad to be with you.
You're not running for re-election, so does it make it easier for you to vote your conscience?
No, not at all. I mean, I always try to have an objective look at the bills before us, and I voted for this infrastructure bill because it was the right thing to do for the American people. And obviously, I disagree with my good friend Andy Biggs as to his assessment, but that's reality of Washington, D.C. We can agree to disagree.
We can, and you always have made a policy of doing so with civility, which we appreciate and is in short supply. Biggs had 2 points. One, which is that it sort of opens the door to the larger bill, because now that infrastructure is passed, they're going to go towards Build Back Better, $2 trillion of spending. But he had some real issues of what was in this bill. Take a listen to some of the pork, and we'll get your reaction on the other side.
What she's not mentioning in there is $66 billion for Amtrak. What she's not mentioning in there is $400 billion of unfunding.
$6 billion of Amtrak?
Well, you know, Amtrak is a rail service that services the Eastern Corridor between Washington, D.C. and New York City. And I will tell you, those rail cars that are flowing on Amtrak rails are made in our district. That puts thousands of Americans to work, plus the additional thousands of people that supply that supply chain. So I will tell you, I disagree with that being pork. That's real infrastructure.
All right, well, fair enough. All politics is local. And an honest man representing his district, we can't say anything about that. You're in a unique position because you're part of this group that voted for impeachment, but voted against holding Steve Bannon in contempt of Congress for the January 6th commission. And just today, actually a couple of hours ago, Bannon was indicted for obstruction of Congress, for not complying with the subpoenas. I'm wondering how you view this, because you're in this sort of very unique voting bloc.
Yeah, well, actually, Leland, I did not vote for impeachment. I did issue an op-ed in the New York Times that thought the behavior deserves some censure or some type of penalty of the president. But you don't overturn an election in regards to because you don't like the situation. And so bottom line, though, going forward with Steve Bannon, you know, there raises some very significant legal issues that will be addressed. But I think ultimately subpoenas will have to be looked at, and the legal process has to take its due course in regards to the situation at hand. And then also I was very concerned about how this investigation committee was put together, where Nancy Pelosi rejected the folks that we wanted to have as Republicans on the committee and unilaterally selected her own Republican members to go on the committee. So it was at its root an illegal act that I just could not support the fruit of the poisonous tree.
No, a stand on principle. You've shown you taken before. Apologies for our bad research on the vote on infrastructure. You bring up an interesting point about Bannon and the January 6th commission. In a weird way, is this sort of something that is a great thing that the Democrats are handing the MAGA coalition? Because suddenly now Steve Bannon and everybody else has somebody that they can fight and rail against and say, here's the evil Democrats out to get us.
There's some truth to that, Leland. It obviously is Washington, D.C. now, when you can find that partisan issue to try to drive people to their camps and energize them to support your camp. And this is going to do it on both sides, in my humble opinion. And that's what Washington, D.C. has become 24/7. And we're trying to change that in the Problem Solvers Caucus and other members that are looking at this from a perspective of what's in the best interest of the American people. And when we're dealing with these issues, often that is disregarded.
Yeah, you can say that again. Congressman, it's good to see you, sir. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Great to be with you. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.